Welcome back. We're going to resume with our lessons about Wix, and particularly we're going to drill down on the text box. So everybody please go to wix.com and sign in. I'm going to do the same. Now for those of you who already have a blank template website, you can start with that. Because some people might not, I'm going to start with a completely fresh slate and start from creating a new website. I'm going to click on here on the top, create a new website. Once again, I'm going to click on Other, create a template, blank template, and edit. You guys should have this down by now, having created a number of websites at this point. So now we get back to our usual. We have our 9 quadrants. They're all empty. We're just going to focus this lesson on the text box because we need to know this very well in order to achieve all the rich functionality built into Wix. So I want you to click on the Add button, Text, double click on the paragraph. Now, the paragraph, the text box, I should say, has a lot of functionality built into it. Let's work with it. I'm going to click on Edit Text. When I do that, a rich menu shows up. If you look at the top of it, themes, right? Talking about what we were talking about the prior lesson, you have the site title, the page title, different size headings, or the body of the words. I'm just going to leave it at paragraph 1, but I want you to know that you can explore with all those things. If you click down on fonts, you're going to see that Wix literally has hundreds of fonts to choose from. And amazingly enough, you can upload your own fonts on top of it. I'm just going to change to whatever this one is, Sale, whatever that means. Now, font size, you can use this slider here to change the size. If I slide it, you see it's getting bigger. By the way, you notice if I can move the text settings over and I can slide this over. And again, it's pretty fun, easy functionality. Or I can type over it and just put in the number 20. 20 is what I'm going to generally go with for regular paragraphs in the course of my text box. Now, what's underneath is also extremely useful. Just like you use with Word, and I want you to think of Wix and Word interchangeably to some degree. You can take these words, you can bold them, you can italicize them, you can underline them, you can change the color of it. And everybody who's working in Wix should have some kind of color strategy in mind. It shouldn't all be black and white. I'm doing black and white now for illustrative and educational purposes, but if I was making a website for a company, I would try to change it up to make it more beautiful. Again, I could choose any of the colors I want here. I will just, for example, choose blue. And then this button here is also very interesting. What we have here is a white background, but if we had a picture or an image in the background, the words might not show up if it was a blue image. But if I do highlight, and I do, for example, white, you'll see a white background with the blue letters. It'll show up even if you have a blue picture. I implore you to try that on your own. One of the most interesting features of this product is the link button. The link button is true not only for the text box, for many other things, buttons and images. We'll get to that in later lessons. But let's try just to work with it right now. If this website had many pages, you could click on those words and the pull-down menu would have the listing of all the pages. In this example, we only have 1 page, so there's no other page to go to. But you might want to have it so it says the word page 2, and you click on it and it goes to page 2, or the name of the page. We're going to skip over Anchor for right now and skip over the other ones. If I click on email, this is very, very cool as well. If I put in a person's email address, when you click on it, it's going to generate an email to that email address, which is a very useful functionality. The phone, it's the same thing. It's going to call up a phone number. So think of this as a mobile device. On your mobile device, if they click on this, then it'll say call such and such number. Do you want to do that? Documents also extremely useful. What that means is that if you click on this button, it's going to download a document that you've uploaded into the website. We're going to get into uploading and downloading in later lessons, but the fact that you can do upload and download of documents and in the event of you clicking on some words is a very useful functionality. What we're going to end up with here is the web address. So if I go here and I type in www.cnn.com, right? That means if they click on these words, it's going to jump to another website, which is also very useful. I'm not going to go into the functionality underneath it, but it's very useful, and I ask you to look at it on your own. Now, animate, the button right to the left of edit text and above the words, is a very nice feature of Wix. And it's one of the things that's made Wix what Wix is. So if you click on any of these things, it'll simulate what it's going to do. And they're all kind of fun, and they're all kind of useful. And if you have no animation at all, maybe it's a little bit dull, maybe not. And if you have too much animation, it's definitely annoying. So I leave it to you to figure out the right balance of how much animation to add to various components of your web page. But I'm going to leave it right now where it's going to be a fly in. The help button in this feature and all other features in Wix is excellent. You can ask it questions right here in the question box. This video that comes with Wix gives you a 3 to 4 minute explanation of how to use the text box. Also very, very good. The final thing I want to point out here is if you look all the way to the right, you're going to see a bunch of functionality again, which is very useful. If you look at the width and the height of this box, if I change that height from 24 to, let's say, 48, if I double it, let's see what happens. You see it went twice as big? And if I went the width from 360 down to 345, see how I made it a much shorter width? The X and the Y, it's the same thing. Think chart paper. So X is all the way over here, X being 0, because this is where the page starts in the center, and Y is 300 pixels down. If I change this number from X from 0 to 50, watch what's going to happen. It's going to shift to the left. If I change Y from 300 to 600, it's going to go all the way down. The final thing, and this is an extremely useful feature as well, is to show something on all pages. So imagine you have something that you want to show. You have 100 pages in your website, but you only want to show it, you only want to produce it once and have it shown on all 100 pages. All you need to do is click on this button, and and it'll show up on every single page. And that's what you're going to want to do, for example, for the site map, for the site heading at the top. Well, that's all for today, folks.